Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our trading room. Hang on here a second. We'll get the screen share going on. So it looks like the bottom's falling out of the market. All the talking heads will be running around waving their arms in the air saying the sky is falling. But really, we've kind of been anticipating this, and it's really coming unstuck here. So what we're looking at is a breakout and the subsequent retest, which is likely to happen. What's interesting is that we saw all these small bars with rather large volume, and then we saw all these rally bars, which should have had big volume, but instead had little volume. Volume is a relative indicator, which means that big bars should have big volume, small bars should have small volume. And when they don't, when the opposite happens, well, then something is amuck. And it looks like these kinds of things normally happen on reversals, where you get this contradiction. Normally, when you get breakouts, you get building volume, but on our breakout here, well, I guess we got a little bit of building volume, but most significantly, the volume tapering off last week, and now, of course, it looks like we're in a little bit of a reverse. So next stop, 8,100, then 8,150, and then maybe even 8,000 before the market tries to recover. Something to bear in mind. Huge downside gap. You can see where we left off yesterday and where we're currently trading. That is a big gap, folks. Don't know if they're going to try to fill that today or not. Looks much more impressive here on the Eagle. You can see right out of the London Open, the market really not looking back. And, well, I guess it looks like they paused for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and then boom, down she goes. I haven't checked any of the news reports or anything to see what they're blaming it on. Not that it matters. The market is in a downtrend. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to call it. It's in a downtrend. The difficult part for us in such a strong market is timing, because stop placement is going to be nearly impossible. By that I mean you can take any sell signal. Here we've got a warning dot. We may produce a sell signal, but where do you cover the trade? If we're going to cover it 2 swings back, well, I suppose we could count that as swing 1. So there's swing 1. This is too close to count as swing 2. That might pass as swing 2, but still, it's kind of in the same neighborhood. That would put swing 2 way up here. That's rich. But it is just off the opening buzzer. Oh, Ron's asking what's the name of the news outlet. I'm just scanning, the regular news. Sometimes I check CNN, sometimes I check bar chart. Oh yeah, David says Forex Factory. Of course, Forex Factory is a great news resource if you're into that. If you don't know, you can also subscribe to news on your NinjaTrader platform. Here's the thing with the news is the markets move, and then the news tries to figure out why the markets moved. So for you and I, the news is not that useful most times, because we're getting the news late. We're getting the news after the market has moved. David says tariffs going on Argentinian steel and aluminum and French champagne. Really? Will this insanity never end? French champagne? All right. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of an early recovery. Here's the thing with opening gaps that are so big. Okay, so the market left off, and then through the overnight, we get this open way down here. So we get a huge opening gap. Of course, you probably heard that gaps like to fill, and they do. At least half the gap will have a tendency to fill. But this is the way I was taught to look at a gap, is that a gap is really like a huge bar. So in this case, we have a huge downside gap. It's like having a huge bearish bar in there. So even though the gap may try to fill, you should not be getting bullish on this market, even though, you know, for an hour or two or three, the market may appear to be a little bit bullish. It is much more likely to head lower again because of that gap. And of course, the opposite is true with an upside gap. Well, we did get a sell signal here, and it's looking like it's working out not too badly. That, of course, on the Eagle, we would have had corresponding signals on our other tools, which we have. Like I said, direction doesn't seem to be the issue today. Timing the trade is going to be the tough call. It's going to be easier to time it, pardon me, if we see the market make a few attempts to go higher and then fail. Because every time the market tries to get bullish and the sellers squash their attempts, it will be a little bit easier to short. And if the sellers can't recover the market and move it short, well, then it's going to make it easier to buy the market up. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that means we're on hold here for a little bit as they sort things out. As a trader, we should not be so inclined to try to predict what the market will do, although that's really cool when it happens, when the market actually does what we think it's going to do. You look like a rock star to your friends. But rather, we should be more in a reactionary mode. And I know it's frustrating because you look at your chart and you look at all these signals. You know, here was a number 3 signal a few minutes after the open. Here was a number 1 signal a couple minutes after the open. Here we're getting reverse signals or trend signals to the short side, all of which would have worked out. You got to pick your battles, though. And you will miss trades. Goodness knows I miss a lot of trades. But I'm not here to catch them all. I'm just here to catch the ones that will make me money. Okay, a little bit of a pushback. That's the first sign that the sellers are losing their grip. Okay, we had a buy signal here. I'm holding out for the number one signal on the, whatchamacallit there, the Raptor. Okay, a little bit sideways. We're starting to form that sideways channel that we see so often. I suppose you could put your, just in case the bottom falls out of the market, order to short. Oh, actually, we should do the lows of the morning, shouldn't we? That's down here. Don't want to get too cute. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting a number 2 signal, a very, very drawn out number 2 signal. This is a test of the extreme. I'm going to call it an early number 1 signal as well. I'm going to look to try to buy it up. Okay, so this now will be my stops. If in fact the sellers, or pardon me, the buyers are digging in, there is the potential for this actually to go much higher. 82.25, not an unreasonable target. I believe that's near the high of the morning. Yes, it is. And well, if the buyers get their act together, it could even get up here to 82.60. That's the next resistance zone. First things first. So you can see here an early number 1 signal. It's not going to print as a number 1. Oh, crap. That was a nasty move. Wow, okay. I got a little bit into that trade a little bit too early. And there they go. The bottom's coming out of it again. Shoot, Eric, after all that talking about staying with trend, but don't those counter trend trades always look so inviting? I think I may have gotten in on the buy side a little bit too early. That was a very brisk move lower by the sellers, to be sure. But they're putting the brakes on again. Well, since they're giving us a little pause here, maybe I will put my just in case order to short. This time I'll leave it there. Oh, all right. Well, here we go. I'll manage it here from the Raptor. First thing I need to do is get my stop loss order in play. And let's see, 69. The market's moving a little bit fast. Maybe I'll stretch my profit target a little bit, see if we can't get a little extra. Come on. Yeah, David saying, come on, Seabiscuit. Doggone you guys. Now the buyers are digging in. See, the proper stop, once again, is not here. This is the tight stop. The proper stop is 2 swings back, which actually puts it way up here. That would be the ideal stop. Now, when you start with a stop like that, obviously you don't have to leave it there. As the market makes lower swings, you can adjust your stop accordingly. Well, I guess I better not be so stupid as to get tagged for that huge amount. You see, what happens when a market makes a strong move one way or the other, you're going to hit that pullback phase. And that's what I thought we were into when I tried to buy the market up. I thought, aha, we're entering pullback phase. I'm going to try a short-term buy. But obviously, I was wrong. But it looks like I might have been a little bit too early, because the lows are holding now at around this 81.72 half line. And it could be that we're entering pullback phase now. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll get one more move lower before we enter the pullback. I'm just crying in my beer now because I got fooled twice. I got suckered into buying it early, and then I got suckered into selling it again when I knew, a pullback was likely. So I gotta smarten up here. I don't know if I want to try to buy it up again. Again, I know there is a pullback coming. I don't know if I should just wait out the pullback and look for the shorting opportunity. We'll see if we get a little bit more of a sideways channel developing here. It will make it easier to buy. Maybe I can recover that earlier loss. Hate it when I dig a hole for myself. This is why I probably shared this with you before, but a lot of times I don't trade the market during opening range. I will not look at a chart until the top of the hour, because opening range sometimes can be very, very unpredictable. It's only for the sake of the trading room, because everybody would ask, why don't you open at the open? Why do you open the trading room a half an hour late? Yeah, it's looking like a little bit more like a pullback going on now. I'll give them a minute or two and we'll see what they want to do with it. All right, let's see if we get a second push on this number 3 signal. I said I wasn't going to look at buying it again, but here I am. Is that all I'm going to get? Just the one bar? Okay, and we'll raise this profit objective. Raise the profit objective a little bit. Now, because I'm going with a larger profit target, I have to be more accommodating with my stops as well. I can't roll my stops too quickly if I'm expecting the market to make a larger move. Now we're well past our swing target, or we were well past our swing target. We're still kind of hovering in that zone. I'm waiting for the market to make another swing higher so I can roll my stops up. And obviously, you know, you got a fair chunk of money on the table here, so don't be shy about taking it. In fact, if I were smart, that's what I would be doing. Well, they're really stuck here at around 8,200, aren't they? And it looks as though the sellers are showing up. And that's going to put the pressure on the buyers. The buyers are going to have to come through here, or I'm going to get spanked again, which would be very unfortunate. Wow, every time they make a move higher, they keep getting knocked down. I really need them to take out one of these recent swing highs to show that the buyers have control again. Or at least for the short term. Wow. All right. Well, the ranges are just a little bit too big for me today. I'm not able to ride them out. And I suppose shouldn't have been swinging for the fences on that trade either. Well, it hasn't happened for a while, but I've managed to hit my stop limit today, my loss limit. Ouch. 3 bad trades. And yeah, I racked up enough that normally I would pull the pin at this point and call it a day, unless the market, gave me an extra juicy type setup. It looks like they're happy to be retracing the same numbers today. We've had some big swings to be sure, but if you take a look, we really haven't wandered all that far. I guess the high came here early, around 82.25, and the low down here around 81.68, and that's a substantial range to be sure, but right now we're in a mode where we're just retracing the same kind of numbers. Oh, look at this. Now they're putting in a rally again. You stinkers. Well, I couldn't have rode the stop any further. It was bad enough where I got tagged out. And yet, that big gap to the upside keeps calling. I very much dislike days like today, apart from the obvious, because of the huge swings. It's really difficult to cover your trades correctly. And here we come with a number 1 signal on the Raptor, a green bar sell, hard edge bounce on the Eagle. The Hawk a little more conflicted, as is the Falcon. The Falcon's a little more wishy-washy. Okay, well, our ranges are a little better defined. And by that, I mean the highs and lows, because we've got, like I said, that big channel, bottom down here, top way up at 82.25. We have this intern swing right here, which would make for a very tempting buying attempt. There we go, talking about buying again. Old habits die hard. See, now, to my style of trading, it's much more comfortable coming into a market at this point after I've seen, a half an hour of trading, half an hour, 45 minutes of trading. You kind of get a better feel for what the market is doing. Early on, it's a frenzy. Oh, okay. David says, I sent you an email with a couple of pictures. I've done better with this. The last month I changed my trading chart to a 500 volume. I find even though the bars don't have the smoothness of the Renko, it's more interactive. Also, I find price bars come closer to the support and resistance lines. Yesterday I put on a 3 size larger chart at 1500 volume, easier to see the whole day, and also hits support and resistance lines more precisely. Well, that's very interesting, David. I'll look for that email. Yeah, volume bars are interesting. I haven't played with them that much, but it's a very interesting concept where the bars plot according to the volume and nothing else. And of course, we know that it's volume that drives the marketplace. See, now we get the move up. Stinkers. All right, well, we're back near the high of the morning, and as such, I would expect the sellers to do something about that. This is actually forming up to be the best opportunity of the day right now. If the sellers make a stand here, then we've got the market in a corner. We really do. We can, if the sellers hold on here, we can buy above the highs, and we'll see where they swing on the lows. And then we'll really have the market in a tight spot, but we'll give them a minute or two here and see what happens. Wow, glad to hear it, David. David's doing much better than I am today. David says I'm simming with this, and in a long position, target 82.33 3/4, which doesn't look like it'll make it. Stop is at 82.11. Stopped out at 82.11. Two contracts done. $1,860. Nicely done, David. That's fantastic. That's great. A little over $900 a contract. That's good for you. That's excellent work. Well, that's very nice of you, David. David says it's the teacher on the program. Yeah, not so much today, I'm afraid. The market's got my number. Doggone it. Yeah, no problem. Tom's asking, can you show us how to increase and spread out the bars on the chart so they're easier to see? If you go here to your chart style, you'll see that your bar spacing, you can increase the spacing either manually just by clicking this a couple hundred times, or the easier way is to hold your control button while tapping your down arrow. And then if you want to increase it or tighten it, it's the opposite. So hold your control button, hit your down arrow or your up arrow, as the case may be. All right. Well, the market's in a little bit of a bind. I'm going to put a short order below this number 2, and my buy order will be above that high. I think at this point I might prefer to buy rather than sell. Let's see if they'll go back down here to 8,200. That's where they struggled for so long. And if not, well, next stop, what was David looking at? 82.33 3/4. Yeah, 82.60 would be quite a stretch, wouldn't it? Well, let's kind of go halfways there. All right. Let's see if they're in a more cooperative mood. And I won't be so silly with my stops this time. We're actually hit our swing target. As you can see, the market's hesitating a little bit here, so I'm going to do the smart thing for a change and take my profit. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Might be too little too late, though. Mama told me there'd be days like this. All right, we're back to the hard edge. And will the hard edge hold? Or are the buyers going to try one more little push up? Again, we're just retracing the same numbers all morning here in spite of the monster downside gap. All right, here come the bulls again. Now this is dicey, folks. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of an uptick. Off the hard edge, we got a nice little hard edge bounce here, a red bar buy. Because we are in the same zone all morning, a second push opportunity might be the way to go. First micro macro cross working out. We're going to get a trend change signal here on the Falcon here. Maybe we'll do the Falcon trade next. Like I said, this is pretty dodgy, trying to buy the market up, but if it takes out these recent highs, oh, well, actually now the trend line has spoiled it, so I don't need to worry about it. Well, here we go with a hard edge bounce now on the Raptor. The Raptor a little bit quicker on this. Again, I'm not sure I want to get in until we get above there, or, you know, at the very least, you could draw a trend line like so. Wait for the trend line break and the subsequent reaction. Okay, there's the break. Where's the pushback? And then we could use that area as our buy. Okay, so there's a little bit of a pushback. No, it's not looking all that promising for me right now. Looks like I got a little bit too anxious again. Kind of seems to be my theme here this morning. All right, gang, I got to button things up here. You know, if you're going to be staying with the market today, look for shorting opportunities. Avoid trying to buy it. I think the bigger move is still going to be to the short side. We may even get to retesting the lows of the morning, which could put the market back down around 81.60. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of a better day then. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.